On this fine Sunday. It is early, still morning, 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. Wherever you are, wherever you're located, good morning. Hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. And I just wanted to put out a quick live today, and it'll be, of course, a live turns into a recorded if you record it, which I'm doing. And I wanted to bring you up to speed about, like I said, I would only speak about if I received anything or if PRs came out. And so, as such, I am speaking. Last time I spoke, I think Friday, I had received a cease and desist letter from counsel for GTII, and they're located out in Orange County. I don't know if I'm going to give the name of the firm because I don't want necessarily for people to call them up and ask them questions or express their dissatisfaction with GTII or ask them why they are taking the position they are or why they're supporting them. So I haven't decided if I'm going to give the name and when. But if I get a lot of if a lot of people are interested in expressing their views to the law firm that is representing GTII and that crew, and they want to indicate that they would be a witness and what their position is, etc., then perhaps if there's enough interest in that, I will give out the name and telephone number of both the attorney and the law firm and the email address also. And if you want to contact them, that's fine. Not a big fan of that law firm, by the way, at this point in time, but perhaps that's the design. But of course, before I get into that and what was the new event, why I'm doing this stupid live stream today, wanted to address a few points. Since I just referenced lawyers, we might as well talk about lawyers. And obviously, there's a lot of really good lawyers out there. I should have mentioned this, of course, is not legal advice. This is only opinion. But here we go. What's the difference between a lawyer and a vampire? Law school. Why does the law prohibit sex between a lawyer and his client? To prevent the client from being billed for essentially twice for the same thing. And how does a lawyer sleep at night? First, he lies on his left side, then he lies on his right side. Anyway, of course, I'm not referencing GTII's lawyers in any of those jokes, but I referenced that I got a cease and desist, so I'm just going to bring everybody up to speed. So I've obviously leading a charge against management, who, in my opinion, I guess I have to say this every time, I've said it before, but in my opinion, they are not doing shareholders right. I've listed a whole litany, isn't that a great word? A whole list of things that I think where they are not representing the interest of shareholders of GTII. So on Friday, I got a letter that was emailed to me at my office, and it listed a bunch of comments, I think like 20 different comments. Couldn't tell if somebody actually listened to these comments or they saw a transcription or they got a transcription off of YouTube or X, but they indicated that they followed social media. So this comes from social media, but I don't know if it's direct quotation or just a taking on transcription, because some of the lines they claim don't appear to be in English. Close, but not in English. Now, that may be me. Maybe I was inaccurate in my statement or not, or used language that made it sound different, or perhaps the transcription's wrong. I don't know, because they don't really indicate that. But anyway, they gave me a cease and desist letter because they wanted me to shut up, because I've obviously, every time they put out a PR since, so they put out 3 PRs, then they sent out the letter to me. The 3 PRs dealt with various purported activities that they claimed were for the benefit of GTII. I questioned each of the PRs pretty soundly, probably didn't like that. He also probably didn't like the fact, I think Mr. Reichman probably didn't like the fact that I was calling him out directly, had raised issues about potential distributions of shares to people that perhaps shouldn't have gotten them or should have gotten less, or there's questions, raised issues about why they had, and this is kind of like a bigger issue. I get it. What's left out of this letter, for example, is that I probably sent 100 emails to management asking them about these points. They never responded nor denied. And so if someone doesn't deny something, when you accuse them, so if I accuse you of stealing a car, your response generally would be no. If you don't say no, then someone could reasonably conclude that you stole the car. So in this case, not, of course, not saying that Mr. Reichman stole a car, but nobody's responded or confronted or contradicted anything said. And, in a humorous way, some of it relates to the distribution of stock. And as we all know, this week, they canceled 36 million shares erroneously and inadvertently apparently issued. And apparently it took, because it's not really clear from the filing, but it looks like it took Mr. Rabari, who was hired in December of 2023, and I think the only big share distribution was January 25th of 2023. It's the one in question. And I would think that if he was going to become, and I'm just speculating here, by the way, if you would think that if he was going to become the future COO, the chief operating officer, that one of the things that he would look at first would be the financial situation of the company. So it'd be surprising if he didn't know about the full financial situation in the company if he was hired December 1, 2023, in December of 2023. And if he wasn't, I don't know why he'd be hired as a CEO, but be that as it may, some of the accusations relate to the distribution of stock in January 25th. Anyway, Mr. Rabari got involved. Eventually, some of those were canceled, but no explanation why the others were not canceled. And if a bunch of shares are issued on a day and they indicate that they were erroneously issued or inadvertently issued, what about the other shares? So anyway, that's just a side issue. And they don't want me to talk about that. So that was the purpose of the letter. So I found it kind of annoying, and I spoke to the attorney or somebody who is involved in pursuing action against GTII, and I will be meeting with that person and seeing them in person this week. And it won't be I don't think it will be at my office. But they're obviously trying to shut us up. They're reading all our social media, and I made a pitch about that. And I said, people be careful, or just understand that all your social media can be monitored. And if in fact there's transcriptions available, that can be monitored too, even if inaccurate. And I gave you a suggested, and this will become more clear again as we move deeper into this week, but I gave you some thoughts about how I would confront this. So today, now we're on Sunday, so we got to Sunday finally. So today, I took my dog. I wake up early. My dogs wake me up. I take out Agatha. We went out for a walk this morning, and we left my house around 6:15, 6:10 a.m. And when I left, I saw a guy parked on the side of the road with his lights on. It was early, and I was struck by that. But anyway, I walked Agatha. We walked past it. We went around. When we eventually came back after I did my 47-mile dog walk, we came back. And when I came back shortly thereafter, and it's between 6:30 and 7, the gentleman who I saw in this car comes up to my house. So it's about just think about this, 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday. Some guy you have never seen walks up to your house. He has a file with him, knocks on the door. My dogs bark at him. I nicely go outside. He asks me my name. I tell him my name. I at that point in time, I kind of understood he was there to serve me something. And what he did, so at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning at my house, after knocking on my door, he comes and he serves me with a copy of that same letter that they emailed me on Friday. So I really don't think that was really necessary, since since they say they're watching my videos, I acknowledged on my last video on Friday that I had received a letter. So the fact that they, at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning at my house, delivered a copy of that letter, I think can be construed as being abusive. And if you don't think that's an appropriate practice, especially in this case where, and we shall see, the facts will come out. And if in fact there is nothing here, then it will come out. And if in fact what I know, the facts, or believe the facts to be true, that will come out too. So I've thought about it. Again, I haven't given you the name of the attorneys or their telephone number. I also thought about it, and I have to kind of look back whether that there's a cause of action for abusive process. This was a letter, not a legal process, so I have to see if it qualifies. But I've thought about suing the law firm for abusive conduct, but we'll have to see. But anyway, I said I would report any new news here. This happened this morning, about 2 hours ago. I found it abusive and an attempt to shut me up. My response is, I'm doing this live, so that's my response. And again, I more than expect to have a conversation with Gtii shareholders this week where I can provide them more information, not just about my response to the letter, but bigger issues. So we will go forward with that. And again, let me know in the comments if you happen to see this, if you'd like to know the law firm and the lawyers that are representing GTII, and if you'd like to communicate your sentiment to them, happy to provide you email addresses and telephone numbers, and we will go from there. For everybody else, have a great day and be well, and we'll talk to you during the week. I'm sure we will talk during the week. Anyway, take care, everybody. Thanks.